presentation about how observability is gonna playing or impacting or having an important role in the BFSI technology ecosystem. And that being said, my name is Sudarshan. I'm a senior technical consultant from Site 24/7 Managed Engine. And I'm here to share my thoughts over how observability is helping or observability plays an important role on BFSI technology ecosystem. And these are all the topics which we'll be discussing today about the digital transformation of BFSI operations and challenges, complexity of the digital transformation in BFSI, and what are all the cloud layers, and how observability is actually helping any of the BFSI industry, and how Site 24/7, to which I belong to, is helping the entire IT industry to have a better observability. And we'll discuss on some use cases. So to start with, before 10 years, I would say, on 2003 or 2005, we all had bank accounts. So for completing any of the banking transaction, or depositing a money or withdrawing a money from the bank, it will at least take 2 to 3 hours, right? So the digital transformation have made the banking operations even more simpler digitally. That being said, I'll start with the first thing, digital transformation in the BFSI sector. So it comes with the digital banking, so which is the subtopic, or it's a subunit of digital transformation. So the digital banking have made all the banking operations, business process in a bank digitalized for its end customers. So any user or any customer who's trying to complete any of the BFSI transaction, like sending a money or receiving money or having some transactions in the net banking application, were made even more simpler. And since the digital transformation is having a bigger impact over BFSI sector, it comes up with its own complexities as well. So say, for example, if I am an end user, so we all have bank accounts, we all use net banking applications. So what we aspire to have is to have a seamless operation, seamless transactions in the banking application. So digital transformation is actually helping the BFSI sectors, as Sujata ma'am and Nikita ma'am said in the morning, like the BFSI industry or BFSI infrastructure has a most complex IT infra. Which means if something goes wrong, there might be an option where there might be an instance where the network device might not work. There might be an instance where the application might go down, and there might be an instance where the servers or multi-cloud infrastructures might go down. So the actual part of observability in BFSI digital transformation is to help them with the complete visibility of giving them what is happening inside their IT infrastructure. So that being said, with the digital transformation, all the banking operations were made easy for end users. But from the BFSI entity perspective, these are all the challenges which they face whenever any application is not performing as expected. So during the digital transformation from the traditional way of banking, the entire business approach was changed. To start with the digital transformation in the BFSI, it has the transformation from the entire records. Like we used to have papers and we used to have records in order to maintain all the transactions, and because of the digital transformation, everything was made digitalized, all the banking operations were digitalized. So in order to complete that, there's a lot of difficulties where the BFSI industries went or came across. The first one will be technology complexity, and we have a competitive market where we need to adapt to newer technologies which can actually help any of the BFSI industry to engage their customers and to provide an enhanced customer service, and to educate the customers on how they can trust and use the net banking or any of the application which is offered by that specific BFSI unit or entity. Similarly, what is the actual importance of this digital transformation or digital customer experience from the BFSI perspective? Like say, for example, if you take any banking sector or any bank or banking institution, they have their own application which helps their customer to complete or to perform multiple BFSI banking transactions, like sending the money or receiving the money or buying any loans or applying for loans. So with the help of this digital transformation, BFSI entities reach their end customers through an application, either through a web browser or through a mobile application. So if I'm an end user, if I'm trying to use any application or access any application to complete any of the transactions, what would I prefer to have is to have a seamless transaction, seamless UI, where from the end customer point of view, the application should be very easy or to be easy to use. So I don't go for a complex application or an application does not respond within expected time, right? So it is very important to maintain the end user or end customer's satisfaction, or to have a better end user experience from the BFSI sector to the end customer perspective. And the application of the BFSI unit should always have the omni-channel integration, as Sujata ma'am said in the morning. So we need to integrate with multiple fintech startups in order to provide a better data or better value or consolidation to the end customers who are trying to access or use the net banking applications. And we also need to have engaged customer expectation. Like say, for example, if I'm a customer, I'm trying to log into a new net banking account, what I would actually request is someone who can help me to onboard all my details, or to help me with login and to have a secured account set up based on my requirement. So we need, as a BFSI, we need to engage the customers in order to access the web application to make things possible and even more simpler from the banking perspective. And in order to do that, all the BFSI units, like all the bankings, financial institutions, insurance institutions, have came across or came up with the application in the internet which can help them to do everything paperless and seamlessly and digitalized. So in order to make sure that the application is running as expected, there are 3 components any of the IT industry should calculate or should be more determined about is applications availability, performance, and security. Since we are into discussing on BFSI, so the BFSI industry is more concerned about security and as well as the availability of the application. If I am a user, if I am trying to access any of the application and that application is not accessible or not responding as expected, so what I will do is I'm not going to use the application, and there is no point of having a digital transformation or digitalizing the entire operation into like instead of from the traditional method to modern way. So that's the place where observability comes into picture. So how a business entity or a BFSI entity can make sure the application is up and running, because that's the phase for all the customers. If I am a customer, I'm trying to access any of the banking, like I have my own bank account. So if I'm trying to do any transaction, or if I'm trying to do any UPI transaction, send a money or receive a money or update my demographic information in the bank account, so I just access my bank application. So how do a bank or a BFSI sector make sure that the application is up and running all the time? How does all the resources supporting the application are up and running all the time? So with the help of observability, any entity or any IT infrastructure or a company can be able to have a complete visibility over their IT infrastructure, like how it's performing, what are all the metrics, traces, and logs. So that being said, these are all the 3 pillars of observability. So observability is something which can help you to gain access over or having visibility over the entire performance of your components inside the IT infrastructure. A traditional way of observability is said as monitoring, where we have a reactive method of analyzing what happened and alerting the users. But observability is something more advanced compared to the traditional way of monitoring, where we use the metrics, logs, and traces to identify the bottlenecks and outages of any of the application servers or any kind of IT components inside the IT infrastructure. That being said, I have a small discussion over, or I have a small example of what kind of cloud layers represent any application's accessibility. To start with the end user layer, where any of the application from a BFSI entity is accessible through end users, which means if I am an end user, I can access an application either through a browser or a mobile device or a tablet. So that is referred as end user layer. And next will be the SaaS layer, where the application or the business logic is hosted. And next will be the PaaS layer, which is the platform as a service layer, where our middlewares are hosted. And the last one will be the infrastructure layer, where the actual servers, network devices, and the load balance are hosted. So having an observability over all these 4 layers will actually give any business entity or a BFSI entity to get visibility on, okay, in the specific layer, the issues occurred, or the bottleneck, I'm able to identify the bottleneck on the specific layer. So with that, their DevOps team can immediately jump into the issue and they'll be able to resolve it and will be able to reduce the mean time to resolve, or MTTR. Similarly, this will also give them a complete visibility starting from their full stack, end-to-end, right from their website URL to their network devices, multi-cloud infrastructures, app log management. And so that's gonna give them a clear view or consolidated view of where things went wrong or how I can improve the application performance, which might actually help to improve the end user experience And how observability or role of observability on enhancing the customer experience from the BFSI perspective, I would say. If I'm a BFSI entity, like if I'm from a bank, so what I would actually suggest is, or
Request all the exhibitors, delegates, visitors, and esteemed guests to be kindly present in the conference room right after your lunch. The panel discussion is going to start soon.
okay, so if I'm a BFSI entity, if I'm from a bank, so what I would actually expect is my application should be up and running all the time. And how do I make sure the application is up and running? With the help of observability. So with the help of observability platform integrated with any of the application, we'll be able to identify the real-time issues and we'll be able to resolve them immediately and proactively. And we'll be able to optimize the performance of any of the application, which means if my application is taking more than the expected time to respond, with the help of observability, I'll be able to identify which specific transaction or which specific API is taking more time to respond, and I'll be able to optimize it. Similarly, I'll be able to optimize, like since I'm able to optimize the transaction time or application performance, I'm going to help the user to have a better end user experience. And that's going to help me to increase the customer satisfaction. That's how I'll be able to be more productive and I'll be able to ease the operations of my DevOps team. And Site 24/7, since I'm from Site 24/7, Site 24/7 is a full stack AI powered monitoring platform. So I'm presenting Site 24/7 here. So with the help of Site 24/7, we are actually serving multiple industries across the globe. BFSI industries, education industries, healthcare industries, manufacturing units, and a lot more. So we help any IT industry or any IT entity to get visibility across their complete full stack platform, which means we'll be able to help them to identify the bottlenecks which are occurring inside their IT infrastructure, application performance, server performance, and the front end to the back end. And I have a small business use case here, a real-time use case where there is a bank which was using Site 24/7 extensively for monitoring their entire IT infrastructure, starting from their website, applications, their middlewares, their DBs, their servers, network devices, and a lot more. So during a promotion period, what happened is there was a slowness identified in a web page. So the DevOps team immediately accessed Site 24/7, which they have been already using, and they were able to identify the actual issue and they were able to resolve it within a, like say for example, within half an hour, which means an application is monitored with Site 24/7. They also monitor their servers, database, websites. So what happened is they just dig down or just open the web page speed browser, a monitor type in Site 24/7, and they were able to see that, okay, there's a sudden spike in a specific component which causes the outage. Similarly, they are referring to another monitor type, which is the front-end monitoring, and they were able to identify that there is no issue at the front-end level, which means at the browser level and also at the ISP level. So they are again checking the application, that is APM monitoring in Site 24/7, and they were able to identify that a specific transaction took more time than they expected, and they were able to identify this specific transaction is actually a root cause or an outage which held up to the issue. So their DevOps team was able to optimize the transaction, and it was bring down from 14 seconds to 8-11 milliseconds. That's how they were able to improve or to enhance the transaction or application performance, which end up in having a better end user experience. Similarly, with Site 24/7, we are solving the problems which are faced by multiple IT industries across the globe, not only BFSI. And we do have 13,000 plus customers who are actively using Site 24/7 for their entire observability requirements. And these are all the verticals where we support monitoring. And as a part of gift, like we are having or we are providing a free Bose headphones. So please do visit our booth and get a free raffle ticket, which will help you to get a free Bose headphones worth 30,000. And thank you so much for the time, and that too even post lunch. Thank you so much. And any questions? Yes.
Can we have the mic, please?
No, only Only one question. I mean, see, generally there is a complaint against application performance monitoring solutions. They work very good with Java. They don't work with other, I mean, maybe proprietary solutions or other set of components. Is there any? I mean, you can give any comments on that?
Yeah, fine. So with Site 24/7, we actually support all the platforms, starting from Java, PHP, .NET, Node.js, Python, till Ruby. We support all the platforms. And that being said, we also have a small lightweight hybrid APM agent. So that's going to help you to get a complete visibility over your entire application's performance. We do support all the platforms, and we do have support to out-of-box telemetry as well.
Okay, Sudarshan is very good presentation. Here, Sudarshan.
Yeah.
It's very good presentation. I compliment your presentation here.
Thank you.
My question is, are you providing it is a cloud-based solution or on-prem solution?
Yeah, it's a SaaS-based solution.
Oh, SaaS. Okay. So,
yeah, we do have an on-premise model.
Okay.
So, say for example, because of multiple complaints on different industries, we do support on-premise solution, and we do have an on-premise.
okay. Another
SaaS-based
question
solution.
is very typical question. I don't know. Most of the solution never get implemented fully. Okay. How much time take for your solution to get implemented?
So it completely depends on the requirement. So we have onboarded multiple BFSI entities. Similarly, say for example, any application
What is
integration.
the full suite? How much
Yeah.
time takes for your full suite?
Full suite may take within a day.
Within a day?
1 day is more than enough. Say for example, we have agents for all the monitor types.
Okay.
Okay, say for example, if you have one application, so that have its own corresponding infrastructure like servers, its network devices, and the other supporting components, middleware. So within a day, we'll be able to integrate the entire application and the corresponding
So yours completely agent-based deployment?
agent-based monitoring.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sudarshan. The session was very insightful, especially coming back from lunch and to bat on this pitch is not easy. Ladies and gentlemen, I just quickly want to reiterate what he said in the end is that please visit the Zoho stall. There's a raffle going on. Obviously, organizers like us cannot participate. We are like pizza delivery boys. We can always smell it. We can never eat it. So, rest to you, please visit their stalls and encourage them. This is one very good opportunity to network also with your peers and colleagues. Thank you so much, Sudarshan, for your presence here. Please accept a small token.